What's up YouTube? My name is Amisbro. For this video we are going to be doing an anime review, and specifically a movie. As we get back into the review season, we are starting with the movie Doukyuusei, translated into English that means classmates. And then we will of course start with the first impressions on Saturday. We have B Project, and we have Tales of Hysteria X the series. But we're starting with Doukyuusei tonight, so let's get started. Okay, first off, this movie came out this year, February the 20th, 2016. It does not have an official release yet, but I have a feeling that will happen at some point. The studio behind it is A1 Pictures, but when we look at the animation, was it really A1, or was it people posing as A1? Because we know their pedigree. I mean, frick, Aldnoah Zero, Black Butler, Ujano Prince-sama, Your Lie in April, just name a few. This one didn't feel like an A1 Pictures studio film. This felt like something that people did that, I don't want to say they didn't know what they were doing, because clearly they had some idea, but it just didn't feel like it was A1 to me. You know what I'm saying? Maybe Mappa. If you said if it was Studio Mappa, cool, I can deal with that. That would have been fine, because the style would have fit them. But anyway, what is the movie about? That is the next question. The movie is about three gentlemen. Well, technically two. Hikaru Kusakabe, Rihito Sajou, and Manabu Hara. Okay, it's more Sajou and Kusakabe than it is Hara. Here's the deal. The two gentlemen go to an all-boys high school, and they're actually in the choir together. Kusakabe is also in a rock band. Rihito is the brainy student who goes to cram schools to try and get into the best university that his father and his grandfather went to in Kyoto. That's revealed later, by the way, unfortunately. Yeah, sorry. And, well, within the first 2 minutes, we find out that Kusakabe likes Sajou. Alright, cool. They did the thing, of course, where they, within the first 2 minutes, you know, they actually start showing the kiss, which is fine. Look, you know that's part of the genre, which is the shonen ai genre, so you're like, it gets to the point where you're just like, alright, cool, whatever. I do have one thing I want to say to people who direct these movies. That's this. If you're going to show the kiss scene, you have apparently two modes that you do, two camera zooms you use. You use the ones where you're really far out like this, or you have the ones where you're really up close like this. Is there like a medium, happy medium somewhere? Also, this was, I think, the first, well, no, I've seen others. I think this is one of the first movies I've seen where when they show the two people kissing, it's usually a lot sloppier than normal, and you actually see them with their tongues, you know, wrestling each other. No, I'm not kidding, this actually happens. Anyway. So, that's like the most explicit they get with it. Because it's a PG-13 movie, so they can't show you the other part. Although, it is hinted at, believe it or not. Kusakabe actually goes to Hara and says, when you guys do it, and they cut this scene out, and then you see the sensei or the teacher swing open the door and go, oh boy, it's really hot in here, because he doesn't really want to touch the subject. So that's it's a funny scene when you see it, because I've seen like the gift set, and even though I've seen the gift set before, actually hearing it actually made it funnier than it should have been, probably. I'm actually grinning now talking about it. But here's the other thing about this movie. It's effectively divided into like 4 or 5 parts. The first part and the last part involve summer. The beginning it starts in the first summer, what we'll call the first summer, because the last part is the second summer. And they do go through fall, and they do go through winter, but I think they call winter something else. Here's the thing. When you do a movie, you need longer than an hour. You're not doing the Sailor Moon movies, where because the story is for the most part, I think, an original work with the Sailor Moon movies, you don't have anything you have to develop. You can pretty much just start and blow off the story in one go. We get that you have to blow off the story start to finish here too. But with all the time jumps you do, from my understanding from talking to somebody on Tumblr, there are things that were cut from the movie, or things that would have helped you understand certain scenes. An example of this would be Hara making a pass at their good friend, skip for a second, our good friend Sajou. Yeah, I still have a hard time remembering names for whatever reason. This, when I found out about it, somebody told me, well, if you read the manga, it actually would have given Sajou more development, so the scene would have made more sense. Cool! But what happened then? Why were they only given an hour? Why couldn't this movie have at least gotten an hour and a half to 2 hours, and then maybe the ending wouldn't have been so fucking awkward? I won't tell you what the ending is unless you've seen the movie, but let's just say it's one of those that makes you go, really? That was the ending to the movie? Like, here's the thing. Okay, you're using 3 characters. You want to cover 4 time periods, apparently. Fine. But, okay, the first summer was like 10 minutes of the movie. The second part I think was like 8 minutes. The third part went up to like the next up to like the 3/4 pole, and then of course the final part was like the remaining 16 minutes. The point of it is the movie, and I may actually have that off. The point is you have like 4 parts, but you should be able to feel something in those 4 parts. You should be able to feel happiness, sadness, rage, joy, whatever. It's hard to do that when the time jumps they use don't really make you connect with the characters. That's the big issue. So, and not to mention, when you look at the animation, again, I don't know what budget A1 was given. But I know A1's work. So when I saw it, I was like, ew. And maybe if the movie was paced a little bit better, personal opinion, it wouldn't have been so glaring. This is why I think sometimes anime movies need like 75 minutes to an hour and a half. I mean, for Christ's sake, K Missing Kings got like almost an hour and 15. But then again, in that movie, and of course with this genre, it was paced in a way that you're never bored because it's constantly moving. With what we were doing here, and it was also being used to serve as a bridge to get to Return of Kings. With what we were doing here, it's a little bit trickier. It's trickier because since it's technically a romance, a shonenai romance, you have to figure out what you're doing. The only issue with this is, if you've ever seen the OVA for Kazuna, Much Ado About Nothing, and I have, they were given 45 minutes to get from point A to point B with the conflict in the middle. They did it. Now, granted, they had 15 minutes less than this movie did, but they did the whole conflict. And, for anybody who's curious, the story they were telling is actually in one of the omnibuses, which I own. And the whole thing is like divvied up into parts, practically, and it tells the whole story. Plus the other stuff that they didn't do in the OVA for whatever reason. And no, because Much Ado About the Bonds of Love, the Kazuna series, it is not for the wee ones. Do not be reading that shit unless you're 18. 21, you know, really, but in some cases. But, whew, man. I feel like there was so much potential that there could have been with this movie. Now, there are 2 OVAs. I'm not sure if the OVAs are actually for this, or because I know there's another thing which is actually called Doukyuusei. But I feel like there was so much potential that there could have been, but was lost on it. And when you're only given an hour, and you have to somehow squeeze all this plot or all this story into an hour, it does not usually work well. You're sitting there praying, and that's never a good thing to do. So, to bottom line this, do I recommend Doukyuusei, otherwise known as Classmates? That answer is no. If you're like a hardcore Fujiyoshi and you want to check it out, by all means. However, if you're, put it this way, if you're looking for the steamy stuff, it doesn't happen in the movie, and like I said, development's just off. But you can go and check it out if you want, and then let me know that I'm an idiot later if you liked it. Y'all take care. We will be doing first impressions on Saturday, and we will be doing them for Beat Project and Tales of Hysteria X the series. Until then, my friends, you have a good night and take care.